Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday edition of Successful as Fuck. And I am your host, Raya Gonzalez, as you know. And I'm here with the amazing Tamara Zantell. And we are going to dive into some really fun stories, a little different take than we've done before on success and how it looks in different forms on a grander scheme. So, Tamara, why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers right now and the ones who are on the replay and tell us a little bit about how you serve people?
Absolutely. So, I am the CEO and founder of Raising a Mogul. Raising a Mogul is the number one young mogul and parent manager platform on the planet. And that means
Love.
I have the most awesomest opportunity to spend time with kids who are influencers, authors, entrepreneurs, impact, status quo breakers, and their parents, helping them start and grow their businesses and also build family legacy brands. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
And
I'm
very
also,
niche.
yeah,
Yeah.
very niche. Well, and I was getting ready to say it. I'm also the COO of my daughter's business, and that is called Xandra. My daughter started the business when she was very young, and that has become our family brand. And that's what sparked it, helping her through that process, us growing as a family through that process now has created the opportunity for me to help families do something similar or even greater.
That's amazing. Isn't it funny
Thank
how
you.
things that we don't anticipate, the experiences that we have, will take us on this whole different
Mhm.
path? You know what I mean? Like we didn't anticipate
Yeah.
having that be, and now you've got this amazing opportunity to help these young moguls and
If
their
you
families.
had told me I'd be here even 5 years ago, I would have been like, "Stop it." 10 years ago, no way. 15,
Yeah,
20 years ago, oh, hell no.
I know. I know. Well, speaking of that, let's wind it back and let's go to like your early 20s, late teens, early 20s. And when you were thinking about what success meant for you, what did that mean? Like
Mm.
what did you imagine success to be?
Listen, early 20s, success was looking like well, I had a lot of kids young. I had a lot of kids young, so my idea of success looked a little bit different than the average 20-year-old, in college. I did the college thing, I did all that, but I also had kids early. So success for me was very money focused. It was about
Yes.
if we could get enough, if we could do this, six like we had made it, taking all the kids to Disney World, so
Yes.
it was really in increments. It was very if we can get the car we want, if we can buy the groceries we want and buy the kids all the little cute little snacks and like the
Right.
convenient snacks that all the other kids at like their private school had, if I could afford that, yeah, Raya, I was on it, right? Like I
Lunchables,
was like
right?
best mom ever.
If
So like
if we
like
can buy the Lunchables,
yeah,
that
oh
means that
gosh,
we have
Lunchables,
made it. Yeah.
gold star, right? So success, it was different, but it was always like, okay, if I can make enough money, get a job to where I can provide these things and it not be a struggle, I would be successful.
Yeah,
That was it.
absolutely. I was a young mom as well, and so got pregnant when I was 19, had baby number 1 at 20, got pregnant when I was 20, had baby number 2 at 22, and it was very similar. Like, I talk about that in the book too, like, how success for me was like a healthy baby, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, a healthy, happy baby, and
Yeah.
she actually wasn't healthy. She had a lot of medical conditions and things when she was born. And so then success for me meant, doing everything in our power to make sure that we could ensure her health and,
Mhm.
advocating for her. And then if we got, what she needed, then that was success, and
Yeah.
gratefully a lot of those things she was able to grow out of as she got older. But yeah, I think we're depending on where you're at in life and what, like, if you're a young parent, you're going to have a different view of things. Of course I wanted all those things for us too, but it was success was like, can I pay rent this month? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. And couldn't we pay rent and order out? Or can we pay
yes,
rent or go through like the McDonald's
yes,
drive-through?
yes. Well, and
Like Success.
Yes, and we loved watching movies. Like that was the thing when my husband and I were dating, we would go to the theater and we would watch every movie that
Oh, we
was in
used
the
to do that
theater.
too.
And like with kids, it was like, this is just not happening, you know. So if we could get a babysitter and go to a movie, check,
Yeah,
win,
yeah,
achievement unlocked. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. The
Like,
month we had a great month.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's cool. I
yeah,
remember
it
that. You
is.
just brought me back all these
I
memories. I
know,
remember
I
that. Like,
know.
the movie was
Well,
like, "There's no one crying here."
I can't tell you how many times we had to leave restaurants. Like we would like order and then we'd be like, I'm sorry, like you got just
It's not gonna
we're
work.
gonna
Yeah.
leave because I'm sorry. Like this is I mean, she was like flailing in her seat and you know, like
Listen, I remember. It was
yeah,
impossible. Listen,
yes.
yeah.
But
But we did it. We did it.
yes, we did it
It felt
and
impossible at the time, let me say that.
yes. And they're amazing, amazing human beings now, you know what I mean? Like, just so grateful that I made those immature choices, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Because I am the woman that I am because of these amazing young adults that I
Yeah,
have now. So,
yeah. I totally agree
um,
with that. I feel the same way.
if we are fast forwarding a little bit, let's say when you got a little bit more established and
Mhm.
the kids are growing up a little bit, how did your vision, because we're no longer in the survival mode, we're
Mhm.
starting to establish ourselves, even maybe we're not like the pinnacle, but we have a little bit more stability. What did success look like for you then? What were you striving for at that point?
Ooh, so as, the journey went on, I was divorced for the 2nd time. However, what was going amazing, so, like, my personal life was a hot mess, but my what was going really well was my career. So when my son Josiah was born, I took a job that I was like, "We have all these kids, I have to pitch in." I was still in school, I was trying to figure it out. That's when we were just like, that's the first level I just explained. But that
Right,
same job, I learned literally everything I needed to learn by that, about that industry. It was in the physiatry industry. I had no idea about what I was doing when I first started. 10 years later, I'm running the entire practice and also other practices. So, like, success for me in that space was being able to climb the corporate ladder, being an expert in my industry, being seen as an industry leader in a space that I literally had to kick down doors to dominate in. So that was like
right.
I was like, brushing my shoulder off as like, "Chick,
Mhm.
like you arrived." And it
Yep.
felt like I had arrived because I was making money. So once again, it was
Yes.
attached to that financial, goal
Yes.
or whatever. But also it felt successful because I was able to pay for private school. I was
Right.
able to provide things for my children that the other kids had, maybe before that I was like, "I'm gonna do this." Like, I was always really great at listen to me, I was always really great. I was always
Well,
I know.
mean,
Like,
claim
tell us how you
it.
really feel, Tamara.
Yes.
But I mean, like, I would never forget driving past this high school on this like really like posh area in our city. I would have to drive past this huge, beautiful castle like building. It had these big bright doors, and I used to always look at it. I was always drawn to it. Like whenever I stop at the light, I found that it was a high school, and I was like, I don't know what happens in that building or what kind of school or what kind of high school, but my son is going to that school. So at this stage in my life, I was able to pay the tuition for him to go to that school.
That's
He had to get
amazing.
accepted, which was success, right? But the fact
Right.
that I was able to write the check for him to
Yes.
enroll was super, like, I felt like this is it. At that moment, I was like, we have arrived. Like, can't nobody tell me nothing. This is my life. I'll be working here forever. And that was it.
Yes.
That's how I felt.
That's funny. My background was actually managing medical practices and
Oh,
dental practices.
really?
Yeah, for 20 years. So
Wow.
I did, well, started from the very bottom and then I worked my way up until I was like, I had done everything administrative. I worked on the administrative side and then I thought I was going to be a nurse.
Mm.
So I kind of switched over to the clinical side and then God had a different plan. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but, but yeah, that's really, really like interesting, but also just so true. Like, right now, so I have the older 2 girls, and then I have a 12-year-old daughter, and, like, all the things that I wasn't able necessarily to do with the older 2 daughters, I'm trying to show up for them more now as
Mhm,
young adults
mhm.
because I know that even though they are adults, they still need so much support,
Yeah.
to launch, and they both live outside of the home, which that's a big success. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
raised babies that are independent enough to say, and one of them moved to Orange County and
Wow.
is living in Orange County
That's
and
huge.
is just making it work.
Yeah,
Like,
any parent that's watching that will listen to
yeah,
this, listen, the fact that you can get your kids out and they're like self-sufficient is huge. So
yes,
you call me all you
yes,
want with the advice and the occasional I have to do something for you, but that is success.
yes.
It is. Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
trying, like, because we were at a deficit because we were so young back then, I'm trying to really just do what I can without hovering, but
Mhm.
do what I can to add value and to be there for them as a mom now. Because what I'm trying to do with my third daughter is all the fun stuff that I always wanted to do. Like, what do you want to do? She's like,
Yeah,
I want to play trumpet. I'm like, perfect.
let's
Band,
do it.
trumpet, let's do it. And then she goes, Mom, I want to teach myself clarinet at the same time. She's like, but I don't want to rent another clarinet. I'm like, baby, Amazon, click, 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 click. It'll be here tomorrow. Clarinet for you, baby girl. And she is. She's teaching herself trumpet and clarinet at the same time. Like,
That's
and
amazing.
then she's doing theater and it costs money. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, whatever, the DoorDash, like, whatever I need to do, you get to have, not in a spoiled way, but like, I'm fostering this intrigue, this curiosity,
Yeah,
like, just,
creating opportunities for her
yes,
to explore, and that's it.
yes,
Yeah, that's a whole different level of success because when I look at the time period we're talking about for me, yes, I could afford the private schools. Yes, I was killing it in the game in regards to my career or, my, employment. But at the same time, when I look back, I wasn't as successful as I thought it was because I didn't really know my children. Like, I had a
right,
relationship with my kids, but I didn't know my kid. Some moms be like, "No,
right,
if you tell me my son did this, I will tell you absolutely not." Like, there were moments where I felt like I wasn't in their face enough,
yes,
because I was so busy building my idea
yes,
of what I thought success looked like what society told me, what my parents told me. And then I was on this fast track and it was like, I can't give up now, and if I
right,
do, the bottom's going to fall out. So it was that fear of pausing or being present. I don't even know if it, so part of it was fear, but a lot of it was also, I didn't know. Yeah, I just didn't know,
right,
like how to
right,
be. I didn't know, you know?
right. There's this part of the book where, without giving away everything, but I tried to interview my middle daughter, and with her, we did do, like, voice lessons in theater. We tried to, like, in high school, like, we were a bit more stable. We tried to do, like, foster her talent because she's an actress and whatnot,
Mhm.
and she did not consent to the interview. She goes, "Just write whatever you wanna write," and so we sat down and we had a conversation, and she said to me, I feel like, she's like, "I'm grateful for everything that you did, but I feel like you thought you could buy your way and that
Mm.
and that replaced your presence." And she's like,
Ah,
"I was at parent nights by myself while everyone else's parent is there, and it was a big deal for me to try to coordinate rides home, and I was always left behind and the last one to leave because you
mm,
had to come and get me from work and you were late." And like, and she's like, "And I just felt like I was a burden."
oh,
Like, and I'm like, I'm busting my ass to try to provide all these things.
provide.
So, but what I ended up doing was the opposite. Like, it
Yeah.
almost would have been better not to do all those things
Well,
and just be there.
I think that's the thing with parenting and different perspectives of what success looks like or is because what you thought you were doing what you needed to do for her, and
Yes.
that's what most of us as parents do, but we don't check in with the kid. We don't know what
Yes.
they want. We just assume we know what they need or what they want, right? And a lot
Right.
of us assume that based on how we were parented. It's like,
Yes.
I wish my mom or dad had done this with me, so Imma do this with my kids, but it's like your kids
Yes.
aren't you, so
Yes.
most likely they don't need the same things that you needed, or feel the
Right.
same way you felt, or, or see things the same way you saw them, so, wow, that's interesting. Ooh,
Yeah,
I can
it was
totally
a
I get it
really
though.
tough it was a tough conversation. I, like, cried. There was so many therapy sessions after
I
that
know they were. I
because
know, but
I was
thank
just
goodness,
like,
thank God for therapy.
yes, because I was just like, how is this possible that I like years of sacrifice, years of just working so hard to provide this opportunity and then to have it be um presented in that way just
Yeah,
hurt so
yeah,
so much. But also like she's not wrong. Like you
mhm,
said, I was present sort of, but I didn't know what was really going on in their lives because
right,
I was so occupied with all this other stuff of providing, but also like really trying to pursue what I like thought success was, or like
yeah,
my like education or my career or whatever. And I thought in my mind I'm doing it for them, but it was for me,
yeah, you were the one
like
winning in that situation, but
yeah.
we but you probably thought, and that's how I thought, that the kids were winning because they had the things.
Yes, but
They
they
had
didn't
the
have the
things.
mama.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they didn't have what they really needed or wanted, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's tough, I can see that. I mean, I've
yes,
had my own moments like that where, a tough pill to swallow, but here's the difference between you and I and so many other parents out there, which is why I'm so excited that we're having this conversation. It is that we're able to receive that information and adjust,
yes,
and that we've created this safe space for our kids to share something like that and it not ruin anything. The
yes,
relationship, where we go from here, you know what I mean? Because there's some
yes,
households, I don't know who I'm talking to,
yeah.
where
It's probably
freedom
you
of
out
speech,
there.
right, freedom of speech and the sharing of real authentic feelings is not welcomed. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's a toughie. Like it's a hard pill to swallow, but I what it has allowed me to do is to take in with the youngest and say like, how are you feeling? Like, are you liking this activity? Does it bring you joy? Like, is it something that's fun for you? Like,
Mhm.
because you don't have to do it just to, like I remember being in soccer for one season because we were horrible, but I hated it so much because it was just horrible and I wanted to quit. And my mom said no because they had spent all the money on getting me set up and everything. And I did the same thing with my kids. I wouldn't let them quit too, but I think it's in some ways it's like that too. It's like there's a gentle way to like find out if this is something that's a burden, like causing them stress,
Mhm,
or if
mhm.
it's because if it's something that's adding value to their life, because they really love it
Yeah,
and it feeds their creativity. And so so far she's in an advanced theater program and she's doing band and different things. Band concert tonight. Woo woo.
woo,
Um
exciting.
but yeah, it's just really, really interesting to see taking that perspective and then putting it on her and then also just saying like, do you feel like you're getting enough of my attention lately?
Mhm.
Like, and she's like, yeah, mom, why, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, really, you can tell me the truth
The
because I
check-in,
want
the
to make sure
check-in.
you're taken care of. Like, do you feel like you're getting enough attention? She's like, well, I don't really want you up in my face because I'm 12. But like if you're in the other room, that's nice,
Yeah,
like so it's good like to like think, through things when you have a little perspective.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's really good. The communication is very, very important.
Yeah. Well, let's fast forward. Tell us a little bit about how your daughter's company came to be and how everything changed after that in terms of like priorities,
Mhm.
how things changed with your view on achievement, because because it's a win for you, it's a win. I mean, like
Yeah.
like really, I always like, even them being born, like my daughter just turned 23. I'm like, it's my mom anniversary. This day is about me. So like, I
All
mean,
about
good
me.
for you. That is your birthday, but it's all about me.
Yeah,
But we feel that way when our kids are winning. We feel like, oh, we're winning too, because we love them so
exactly.
much,
Yeah, and because
So
we support them so much.
yes, exactly. So tell us a little bit about how that got started and how that changed things for you.
Absolutely. So I kind of alluded to it earlier. Xandra started a plant-based skincare brand when she was 9 years old. It started from a love of lip balm and all things shiny. She just wanted to be a cover girl. She was my little girl. And of course, all that wasn't allowed at 9. So she was like determined to figure out how to make her own after her father told her no, he would no longer continue to feed her habits. So she had to figure it out. And that's what she did. And after like months of me watching her destroy my microwave with crayons and Vaseline and all these things, I ordered a kit. And I ordered this lip balm kit from this blogger's website. So excited that it was going to be a weekend thing. We made the most disgusting strawberry or whatever, cherry something lip balm. It was terrible. She was so proud of him, gave him away at my dad's church. Both my parents are pastors, by the way. And one of the mothers of the church gave her $1 for one. And that kicked it off. She got $1. And on the way home, she was like, Mom, I'm going to make more. And next week, I'm making lots more dollars. I'm coming home with lots more dollars. I said, well, that means you want to start a business. So that's exactly what we did. And that business over the course of 10 years evolved. And it feels like when I look back at it, like it kind of happened quickly, but it didn't, and that's why I do what I do at Raising a Mogul, to help people fast track that process. But it was a struggle for me, because I have 5 children. We had Xandra
Right,
with this amazing idea that I'm trying to build, and there was no support for parents like me and young moguls like her, kids like her, with this huge idea.
right,
So I had to kind of, create our own normal, take matters into my own hands, and create this kind of like ecosystem around our family where this idea of a family business could actually become a reality.
right,
So it was all her in the beginning and me supporting her, but then as the brand grew, it was like, wait a minute, we need to hire, right? So we were all kind of involved in it, but not until the business started to grow significantly. Then it was like, we're not hiring anyone. We have all these people living in this house.
right.
This is how this is gonna work, right? So you're gonna be in charge
Yeah,
of fulfillment. You're gonna be in charge of this. You're gonna help with social media, and we just pulled together as a family, and it quickly became our family brand.
I love
And
that.
what that inspired, what that sparked, which is the bonus, is all my kids are entrepreneurs. All my kids, I feel like what we were able to do and demonstrate and pull together and work towards, and when it came to building Xandra, the company, it sparked, it kind of released a lot of fears in of what doing something different could be,
Right,
being a young person, and also allowed them the space and the freedom to take risk. They could see how we could literally be making something or working on something in our kitchen, and then to our sunroom, and then to a small little space, and it could end up on the shelves of Target, right? So
yeah,
exposing your kids to that type of success or opportunity, or if we work really hard, we can do this. That sparked so many other things in the kids. So now I have 3 sons who are professional football players. Like I said, they're all my kids are entrepreneurs. They're like, it's just in them. It's just a part of like
yeah,
it's a part of who we are, like, oh, I can start this. Like, so they don't have this mindset of lack. They don't have this mindset of they've never had the opportunity, because you mentioned the word survival
right,
before. I would love to say that they have never lived in a survival mindset. They've consistently been thriving based on the examples that we've kind of created
right.
together as a family, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that does, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think that's
Thank you.
what we could want for all of our children, you know what I mean, is to have, well, not only that, safety of,
Mhm.
security of knowing that they're taken care of and that they can explore
Yes.
what it is that is interesting to them and see if it's something more, but
Yeah.
also like that ability to have the entrepreneurial education is so rare. Like, I think, I mean, if I have spent so many dollars because I had to teach myself how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because I have
yes,
never seen it mapped out for
demonstrated,
me.
mapped out, yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah, so it just is like so amazing to me. And I think that people who have had that, whose parents had a store or, had some type of entrepreneurial background, they have a leg up because
yeah.
they can see, okay, this is going to go down, but it's going to come back up. You
That's
know
it
what I
right
mean?
there. That's it right there. That's why when my son loses a game, it's not the end of the world. That's why
Right.
when something's not working well, more resilient. Like they
Yes.
literally have like these built-in tools based on their experience with the family business. Like they know that just because we didn't hit the goal this month or we had to work really hard to pay the rent on our headquarters or whatever this month, it doesn't mean that that's how it always is. We just go back to the drawing board, we look over our plan, and it's like, okay, so what are we going to do? So how are we going to fix it? Like they're always in this progressive growth mindset
Yeah,
space,
I love that.
so it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool. This conversation is making me like them a little better.
Yeah.
Oh my
Give
gosh,
you a
I
little
like those.
give them a little extra grace over the next couple days before it wears off.
Exactly. It's
Just
so funny.
tell them it's up to it was Raya's doing.
It was Ryan's doing, but listen, it's so funny because my son, the entrepreneur, also a football player, living in New Mexico, living his best life, but yeah, he won't schedule his own eye doctor appointment, and I'm like,
Mhm.
dude, like, what?
I
So
know.
did I really do a good job or what?
I know. Well, my daughter that I was telling you about when we were in the green room, she sent me this meme and it says like, "Hey, knock it off. I'm a whole grown ass adult." And then the next one is like on the phone. It's like, "Mama, I need to schedule an appointment and they're asking me some questions and can you help me please because I don't know what to do."
That's real life, man. That's no matter how prepared you think they are, or they actually are, they're
Yes.
always going to need us, right?
Yes,
They're always
they
going to need
are.
us. I swear, you just the hyperventilation of him on the phone with like, I was like, dude, you don't have to like drop off your eyeballs. Like, it's not that serious. You can just call. Like, what's near you? Call Walmart. They have an eye center. Like, it's really
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, it's like anywhere, Costco, Walmart, Lens Crafters,
Whatever.
go
It
to the
doesn't have, don't
mall,
make it
like
complicated. Well, my
yeah.
doctor's not here. I know, because you moved, but that happens. People do that.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's right, it's right, it's right. Well, if you were to look forward about 10, 20 years, and we're talking like more legacy level, what would you have wanted to accomplish between now and then?
Whew. Success looks totally different. On a legacy level, um, it looks like all my children responsibly within the parameters of the law
Yes,
living their best life according to their standards. I don't
yes,
care what that looks like, where they're living, who they're living with, who they marry. Like, I just want them to be self-sufficient, responsible, respectful, amazing human beings, and call them mama. Like, call me,
yes,
include me, text me a picture,
yes,
right? Like,
that's right.
that's success. Like, and the reason why that's a big part of my legacy, or will be a big part of my legacy, because that means I did these things right, right?
Yes,
So that coupled with our family business, of course, being out into the world, touching as many people as possible. We have a mission and a heart for girls and girls' education.
yes,
So having like a footprint on how we change the game when it comes to girls and access to education and information, and for them to be able to make an impact in their own communities and families, that's important to us.
yes, I
And then
love that.
finally, raising a mogul, me being
Mhm.
able to shift parents' mindset in a way where they can have the audacity to think that their kids can actually make a difference in the world, not
Yes,
next week, but actually today.
yes.
Then I feel like I'll be good.
I know, I know. Sometimes it's interesting too to see, like, to suss out, like, when you know that your kid is special, but you don't know exactly, you can't put your finger on it yet.
Mhm, mhm.
That's really interesting. I bet that's a really, like, fun part of your job.
It is, and I think a lot of parents get frustrated sometimes with the process. It's like, "Bruh, you said he was a genius, like, you thought he was gonna behave? Like, you thought he was gonna sit still the whole time?" Like, "No,
Yeah,
there's things to do." So, it's like discovering, like, it could be very fun, for parents that want to pause, like we were talking about, get in their kid's face, lean in a little bit, and actually explore this really cool time, where your young
mhm,
mogul wants to discover new things, try new things. So, but at the other side, if you're super busy and you're not committed to slowing down to explore this as the parent, then it can be a little frustrating because kids change their
right,
mind. They change their
yes,
mind. They get tired, they get overwhelmed, they get annoyed, and especially if they
and
feel
it's
like we're not on board with them. So,
yeah, and it's not easy, you know what I mean? Like, it's not you're not gonna make a buck every time, and you have to invest back in your business,
oh,
and you know what I
definitely.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
nothing about what we do is easy. Not one thing.
yes, yes.
No,
Oh,
not one thing.
I love that. So you do when you're working with families, you do work with families who they don't have the idea yet,
Oh,
like, where
definitely. Absolutely. So I work one-on-one with families. I have a shelf ready product brand accelerator. So if anyone wants to actually start a product brand, that's an opportunity. And we start with ideation. How do you want to make an impact on the world? What is your child's passion? Like, what do they do? What would you do for free? So we start right at the beginning. We also have Young Mogul Prep School where we work with the kids specifically, just flushing out their what product or service, how do they want to serve, is it by cookies, decorating cell phones, is it collecting blankets for the homeless, or rescuing dogs, or raising money for the whales, whatever it is. It all is centered around that child's passion, gifts, talents, and what they want to do. It's about them, not the parent.
right.
Mhm.
Right. That's interesting. Well, we may need to talk because my youngest, we've called her the princess president of the world
I
since she was
love it.
little, and that's for a reason. Like we've always said that she can, she can convince anybody to do anything, and if you don't do it, you feel like a total asshole. Like because
She is a
she's just
persuasive
she's so
young lady.
persuasive and cute and just so witty and smart, and she's been doing like my middle one needed some new like photos for her portfolio, and my 12-year-old daughter took them, and they're
Wow.
like amazing,
Oh,
you know.
wow. See?
So she's very
But if you hadn't
multi-passionate.
given her the opportunity, nobody would ever know that she possessed that
Yes,
skill, you
yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a space where kids were meant to be seen and not heard, and nobody was gonna let me put my hands on anybody's camera or fancy
I
cell phone,
know, I know, I
you
know.
know? So it's just like things are shifting. I want things to shift. I want us as parents to realize, how amazing our kids are right now today,
Yes,
and we don't
they
have to wait
are.
until they grow up to for them to make an impact, even if that impact is just right here in our households,
Yes.
so
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And so, man, I could just talk to you forever. We'll have to schedule another
I
call
know.
because
Schedule another
because
one.
I'm not sure everybody wants to like, but seriously, before I ask the last question, I do want to tell people if you want to get in contact with Tamara about Xandra and get in touch with some amazing products, if you want to get in touch with her about raising a mogul, my attention is peaked. I want to know more, so we are including all of her information in the show notes, so I encourage you to please do so. And if
Hit
you're
me up.
catching Yeah, exactly, if you're catching us on the replay, still do it. This is evergreen, and it will be a podcast at some point, so please do reach out because she's doing such amazing work for our kids and for
Mhm.
families, really, to bond and encourage and change the dynamic and the generational legacy that you're
Yes.
leaving for your family. So I applaud you for what you're doing. I think it's
Thank you so much.
amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So the last question that I always ask is a
Last
fun one,
question.
and that is, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Whew, I've been given a lot of advice. But I have to say, the best piece of advice I can share is sleep when the baby sleeps.
Yes.
Sleep when the baby sleeps. For so many reasons. First of all, as a new mom, we're literally like we don't sleep. It feels like for a year.
Yes.
And then but it also why I say that is like we always feel like, and it's not just when you become a new mom, right? It's when you have a new anything, right? When you're trying to achieve that level of success or climb the ladder or whatever success looks like for you, you're attacking these goals, right? And we never pause to sleep, to be, to explore, to be,
Mm-hmm.
to sit still, process all these different things is what I mean. Because we're consistently going, and that's how we burn out. That's how we make
Yes.
bad decisions. That's how we snap
Yes.
at the kids. That's how we're not present for the kids, and then they grow up and they resent us. Sleep when the baby sleeps,
Yes.
so stop always looking for the next thing. Um, and so that's how I interpret that. There's so many other
Yeah.
I could just go on forever about it, but I think it's important for us to just be still, right? If
Yeah.
everything else is calm, if the house is quiet, if the emails have paused, if 6, 7, 8 p.m., whatever your day ends, put your cell phone down and just
Yes.
rest. Just
Yeah,
be,
absolutely. And
sleep when the baby
celebrate
sleeps.
husbands that bring you coffee
Oh,
while you're on
yes,
a
husband.
podcast.
Great job. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think sleep when the baby sleeps is so important because yes, you as a young mom, that is something you feel like you have to, and this translates to all areas of what we're talking about. But when it's calm, you feel like you have to do all the things that you didn't have time to do.
Yeah,
But if you do not renew yourself at some point, it will all come to a crashing halt. And
absolutely.
I did this, and I just wrote this in my journal last night that I needed to go back to this, but I was very consistent for some time where I called it get horizontal. Like every day for at least 15 minutes, and I wouldn't necessarily sleep, but I would lay
That's
in my bed and
yeah.
I would wrap the blanket around me and I would just like lay there like this and I would just lay down and just like even put earplugs in or whatever, just like turn off all the sensory everything
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
do it for like 15, 20 minutes every day. Like, and it changed everything about my afternoon, about the way that I felt about things. It was
Mm.
just like a marked spot where I was like, okay, that was the morning. And
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, so I get to get horizontal. And if you're not an entrepreneur, I'm sorry for you. You go to your
I
car,
get to
lay
get
down in your car.
horizontal. I love this.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I feel like
but
that's
I've been
like a whole nother thing. Get
I
horizontal.
know,
That's your next podcast.
I know. I don't know. My people might take it the wrong way.
I'm sure. Well, successful as
Yeah.
fuck. I mean, it's like the sequel.
Yes. But I think, I've allowed that to kind of drip back into, especially with the book coming out, which,
Mhm.
to plug the book, the pre-sale starts tomorrow. So everybody, please, please participate in the pre-sale. The book will be published and released in September, but this pre-sale is so important because it actually funds my publishing costs. So I
Awesome.
please ask people to participate. There will be lots of fun merch that goes along with different tiers of participation in the pre-sale. So help me out, guys.
That's
I love you.
exciting.
Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, with the book and with all the things that have been going on, it's just been harder to shut it off and say like, and shut it off in the sense where I give myself permission to sleep when the
Yes.
baby sleeps.
Yes. Please give yourself I mean, the alternative is just a disaster, and that's the
It is.
bottom line. And I
You're not going
know
to get
there's
anything
probably
done, really.
no, and there's people out there that are still like multitasking warriors and I don't hustle, hustle, but I'll be walking, you'll be like laid on the floor. And I'm like, what happened, girl?
Hmm.
Like, it is going
Hmm.
to happen. It may not happen today, but it is going to happen. We have to take care of ourselves. Like,
Yes.
you can't even think and make good, solid, healthy decisions when you're exhausted.
Yes.
You just can't, and it took me forever to learn that. Like, I used to just go, go, and I celebrate the fact that I didn't need much sleep,
Right.
and
My
I don't know
gosh,
what the
those
heck
were
was
the
wrong with
days.
me. Yeah, like, and I don't even know, and I feel like I could still have that type of energy, but I realize now, looking back, it didn't really serve me well, and I get
Right.
so much done. I accomplished so much. My success looks different now that I take care of myself and I sleep when that baby sleeps,
Yes,
you know?
yes. There's like one last example that I'll give, and I think I've given it on the show before, but it's such a good one. And that is my husband ran a half marathon
Mm.
and he did not train for this half marathon. This man is crazy. He literally did
It's
not
like,
train,
"Yeah,
like
I'll be
not
back. I
even
got a
one
marathon to
single
run."
time. Yeah. So 13.1 miles. And I dropped him off. And then afterwards, he slept for like 2 days because, he didn't train. But he told me this story about how he was like in the final like couple miles and maybe the last like 4 miles or something, and a lady cramped up and tried to push through, and she fell and smacked her face and
Oh
was
my
like all
gosh.
bloody and everything, and it was bad.
Oh,
And then he kept going, and then he started to cramp, and he tried to push through the cramp, and then he remembered that lady, and he goes, "Ah, nah, I better walk." You know what I mean? Like, I better walk this off because he was cramping pretty bad in his legs. And so once he walked a whole mile, and
wow.
then he sprinted for the rest of the race. And he was like, "I'm so glad that I stopped and I walked because I think I probably would have hurt myself because I didn't train."
Exactly. Yeah.
And even people who did train, it's 13.1 miles. It's a long run.
Listen to your
And
body.
I know. And so I think that's the essence of it really is, like number one, we can't train for everything. Number two, although he should have trained for that. But number two, like listen to your body and listen to like not just your like physical body, but listen to your mind and your thoughts too.
Mhm,
You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like really, really pay attention, and so that you can say, this is the line, this is the boundary, this is where I need to stop.
Yeah.
Because if I go past this, yeah, am I going to get stuff done? Yes, I am going to get stuff done. Am I going to be at my best? No, I am not.
Nope.
And you might make mistakes. You might make crucial mistakes
It's
because you're
so
too
true.
tired or your head is not in the game.
Yeah.
So,
I totally agree. I
get
totally agree.
horizontal or
Get
whatever it is for you.
horizontal. If you remember
Like,
nothing else.
yes, or stop and have a cup of coffee, or stop and journal, or do whatever it is that you need to do to like tell yourself for a minute, okay, I am not working. You like turn the phone off, turn on do not disturb for a half an
Listen,
hour.
turning my phone off has changed the game.
Yes, like pause for a minute
Oh, it has
and just
changed the
allow
game.
yourself that
Like, no,
that
I am not
break.
available, and that's okay.
Yes,
It is okay. Like, the same issues, problems, fires, they'll be there in 15 minutes. They'll be there in
yes,
the morning.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
absolutely.
on my calendar. Everything else used
Yes,
to be on my calendar. Now me, I am on my
so
calendar.
good.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah.
mhm.
Well, Tamara, thank you so much for joining us on the show. This was amazing. I seriously do want to talk to you, so we will be talking later.
Absolutely. I had so
And
much fun. Thank you so
oh, it's
much
so
for
good. And
inviting
we'll
me.
probably have you back because this show, even though the book will come out in September, this show is going to keep going because the whole point of the book is it's my story of the things I lived through and the things that I did. And, like the subtitle of the book is A No BS Tale of Screwing Up and Succeeding Anyways.
I
And
love
so, like,
it.
it's like the things that I did that were not so great, but also things that happened to me that were not so great, but how my viewpoint of worthiness, enoughness, success,
Mm,
achievement, wins, all of that just morphed over time. This show is about you. It's about
yeah,
us. It's about
yeah,
the universal applicable topic that is for all of us. You could be starting out, you could be highly successful. It doesn't matter. This applies to all of us.
yeah.
And
I totally agree.
we need to be talking about it because
Mhm.
people need to see that like we don't have it all together. You know what I mean? Like we are all a work in progress. You know what I mean?
No.
But
Who does?
but we are successful as fuck because we say we are.
Exactly. That's it.
We say we are.
Yeah.
And if we say we are, then F you to the rest of the world, because
It is
we're
so.
the only ones who matter. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep. I
So,
totally agree. I love it. I love the concept. I love what you're sharing. I think it's amazing. And thank you for bringing it to market. Thank you for creating this opportunity for people to hear our voices and actually
yes,
experience what success looks like to other people so they can kind of, you know, gauge, maybe like review their own ideas and figure out
yeah,
what their own ideas are. Because a lot of the times when we think about our success, it's somebody else's idea. It's
that's
not
right.
our
And
own
that's
because
not
we
it.
don't pause to figure out what it is we really want. We don't
Yes,
know. We probably already passed what we thought was great. So yeah.
yes,
So thank you
yeah.
again, Raya.
You're so welcome. Well, again, if anyone wants to reach out to Tamara, please look at the show notes and do so. We thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We will catch you, I think, tomorrow. I did an accidental launch this week because I had a whole bunch of shows lined up. But we thank you so much. And Tamara, you're the best. I really, really appreciate you.
Thanks for
And
inviting me.
we will see you all next time.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.